only to be capable with. Look at this. No avail. Face first. Single-handedly decimating damage control.
Hey, what's going on YouTube land? This your boy TJ and welcome to my YouTube channel, Wrestling Nostalgia, where I give my reviews on the WWE shows and PLE events. And today we are going to be reviewing SmackDown, March 29th, 2024. So let's go ahead and get right into it, right? We open up with our opening match, Randy Orton and KO versus Pretty Deadly in the tag team match, which is so crazy because KO and Randy Orton are actually going to be opponents at WrestleMania next weekend. So there's that. And if you would have told me in my bingo cards that these four individuals, very unique individuals, were going to have a tag team match sometime this year, I would have thought you were lying. But they had a pretty decent match. Predominantly, the match was going more so of Randy Orton and KO's way. In the end, unfortunately, also in my bingo cards, if you would have told me that Logan Paul was going to interfere in their match and help Pretty Deadly win, I would have thought you were lying too. But Logan Paul comes from under the ring. He socks KO in the face. This is when Pretty Deadly gets back into the ring, pins KO 1, 2, 3. Randy Orton and KO loses the match. But before Randy Orton leaves the ring, the fans let him know that Logan Paul is under the ring. So he gets, he goes to ringside and goes under the ring, and there he is. And I'm like, you didn't leave by now? Like, what were you waiting on? You were supposed to hightail it out after the fact. Like, why are you still right there? Like, what? So he comes, and then he snatches him from under the ring and just start just wailing on him. And it looked like he was about to do like the RKO through the table, but Pretty Deadly comes out and return the favor for Logan Paul for helping them win the match earlier. So this is when Pretty Deadly winds up getting it, and they wind up getting a stun on RKO. Logan Paul hightails it. Randy Orton is like hide on his heels. So this is when they wind up in the back. Whoever it was that was talking, besides, I guess it was Logan Paul's car. I don't know if it was or not, or he stole these people's cars, but he hightailed it out, and I guess he's going to have to get his RKO at another time. In this next segment, it is an interview with Iyo Sky, the reigning WWE Women's Champion, and she basically lets it be known that yes, Bayley did play a factor in helping her win the Women's Championship and getting a spotlight back in WWE, but she only did that to get credit for herself. Iyo also continues and says that she considered Bayley as a friend at one point in time, but she is embarrassed. She considers Bayley a travesty in WWE. She said hopefully after WrestleMania she'll never get to see her again. And after the interview wraps, this is when Bayley comes out and she is wailing in on Iyo Sky and just beating her down. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. She even speared her through the interview setting. Finally, this next segment. Finally. Yes, I am ecstatic about this, okay? Jade Cargill signs the deal with SmackDown. And she is an official SmackDown superstar. Yes, no longer a free agent. Jade Cargill is in WWE, and she is on an official brand, which is SmackDown. So she opens it up, and this is, well, first, before she comes out, Nick Atlas is in the ring first, and he introduces Jade Cargill. She comes out. The entrance looks so bomb. Like, I love it. The look. I didn't expect her to be so bare, but the outfit was outfitting. That's all I'm going to say about that. I ain't going to touch her with 10-4. But she looked fabulous. Like, oh my goodness. I love the entrance. Like how the scenery, all that. Like the lighting. like how to, everything. It just was just everything that it needs to be. She looked good. And she came out in this red outfit, this red number, looking so good. She comes out and she says that, if you ask me, Nick, it's about time. SmackDown has the best women's roster, but they're not Jade Cargill, and they're not a once-in-a-generation, once-in-a-lifetime athlete like me. She also continues and says that for a little weather update, a storm is arriving. I said, okay, period. She ain't got to say much. That's all she had to do. Less is best. And I love it for her. She came there. She looked fabulous. She looked good. And she's a baddie. And she going to come. She going to wreck shop. And she going to leave. And I love it for her. Jade Cargill is definitely being presented as the next big thing in WWE. I cannot wait to see what she brings in that ring. And hey, I hope she delivers. I know she's going to deliver. Just watch and see. In this next segment, it is Dakota Kai interview backstage. And the interviewer said something about Jade Cargill. And she said, Jade Cargill, what has she done so far but just stand there? Our focus wasn't even on Bianca Belair. She calls herself the EST, but if she was the smartest, she would have stayed out of our business and not reinsert herself into damage control once again. She says, and tonight, I'm going to beat her in the middle of the ring. I'm like, you want all the smoke, don't you? I don't think you do. In this next segment, it is Nick Atlas, and he runs into Aladon and Alba Fire, and I can't quite make out what they're trying to say because look, it was just all over the place. I think it has something to do with their entrance or something like that. Anywho's, moving on. Then this is when Nick Atlas also runs into AJ Styles, and AJ Styles says, did you tell LA Knight to stay home? So he says, well, I asked him to. He said, no, you should have told him. And I'm like, okay. Who's the general manager? Who's boss? That's what I wanted to say. In this next segment, it is the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley. And they got the champagne ready for them because they are banking on the Street Profits to beat Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. And they said, we're going to go ahead and go to WrestleMania. We're going to make this big impact. Y'all got this. So now we head on to the match with the Street Profits versus Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. A-Town Down Under, as they like to call themselves. I don't know if that's still a thing, but hey, they had a pretty decent match. It went back and forth. And towards the end of the match, D'Angelo Hawkins had hit a spine buster on Austin Theory. And this is when he tags in Montez Ford. He's about to go ahead and go to the heavens and, do the frog splash. So then the camera pans over backstage with B-Fab and Bobby Lashley laid out thanks to Scarlett and Karrion Kross. So this is when they say, yeah, you're missing out on one hell of a party. So Hawkins is like stuck in between, like, oh, do I go out and help him or what's about to happen or whatever. So he winds up going up the apron. So this is when Montez tried to hit his frog splash, but it does not work. He winds up getting all knees, and then he wound up flipping him over. Austin did, and 1, 2, 3, he picks up the win, and they're going to go on at WrestleMania for the 6-pack ladder match for the Tag Team Undisputed Championships. So this is when D'Angelo goes back to the ring to check on Montez. So they get hit from behind by AOP, and they get demolished and get laid out. And this is when Karrion Kross and Scarlett comes down to the ring, directing traffic. They getting beat down. Bobby tries to come in and try to help him, but it doesn't work. He gets beat up too. And they all are left laying. And standing tall is the Last Testament. If I had to make a prediction, I believe it's going to be the Last Testament versus Bobby Lashley's Pride. I believe that's what they're called now. But at WrestleMania, I do feel like they're going to have a match, or they may have a blow-off match on SmackDown. And I hope that doesn't happen, because for them to just blow this off on SmackDown, It just wouldn't make sense to me. In this next segment, it is Legredo del Fantasma. I think I'm saying that name right. So they're in the ring, and Santos cuts a promo, and he says, I hate to be the guy that says I told you so, but I told you so. None of you ever forget, especially you little girl in the front row. I'm the one to put Rey Mysterio on the shelf for months in in-ring action. And even though I didn't get the amputation that I wanted Rey to get on his leg, I still beat him in the middle of the ring. And I got somebody that hates you just as much as I do. So this is when Dom's music hits. And Dom, again, he does his whole stick where he tries to like talk on the mic and it does not work. He says, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make that dead beast's life a living hell. So as everybody's just booing the hell out of Dominic Mysterio, this is when Santos says, see, you see what you doing, Rey? You be turning your back on the ones you love. And I'll be damned if I let a deadbeat like you sit up there and stand in our way. This is when Rey Mysterio music hits. So Rey Mysterio comes out and he says, Dom, I thought me and you were done fighting, but it seems to me that now you reinserted yourself into this situation. So I feel like it's nothing but the ultimate divine, because now I get to beat respect into both of y'all. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he says that he wanted to lay down the challenge, a tag team match at WrestleMania. So this is when Dom says, with who? So then he go down the line of all the people. And then this is when Rey Mysterio said, it is the newest member of LWO, and it's Dragon Lee. So Dragon Lee comes out. So this is when all hell breaks loose, because it started off with the females and they in each other's face. All of a sudden, Zelina just slaps Elektra, because I guess she must have said that she ain't like her wig. So she just slaps her. And then they just all just fighting and just everybody fighting everybody. Now, mind you, Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo have a tag team match right after this altercation that just took place with LWO. So they got beat up, and then now they're going to have a tag team match right after this. So I don't know how they're going to regroup, but yeah, they're going to have to get themselves together real fast if they are banking on winning this match. In this next segment, it is Bianca Belair and Naomi, and they're backstage in the locker room. And Naomi wishes Bianca Belair luck in her match with Dakota Kai. And this is when Bianca said that she thought about what Naomi said to her last week. And she said, now is any time of any to try to take down Damage Control after 2 years of trying to do this. And she was fighting for her life. I'm fighting for my life. Naomi says, now I'm here. And trust me, I get it. And this is when Naomi says, cause who the roughest? She said, I am. She said, who the toughest? Bianca said, I am. And she said, you gonna snatch her up? She said, yeah, I'm gonna snatch her up.
The roughest. I'm the roughest. Who's the toughest? I'm the toughest. Who's the strongest? I'm the strongest. Who's the baddest? I'm the baddest. You gonna snatch her? I'm a snatcher and dragon. That's what I want to hear. Boom! Yeah.
So then this is when she said, boom, yeah. And she has EST on the back of her head. This is a playback from the movie Babs when they did the auditions outside for like a music video.
That's my girl. That's my girl. That's my girl. Yeah. Yeah. Baby, we got this. Booyah.
With Holly Berry, she was all like this. And then her friend was like, that's my girl. That's my girl. Yeah, we got this. Booyah. Yo, they gotta be stopped. But they embraced and all that other stuff. Like, I really do love Bianca Belair's and Naomi's friendship. And yes, they are friends in real life. They are who. I want to see more of them and more of their segments. Like, give me all of Bianca Belair and Naomi. Like, please and thank you, WWE. They are TV gold. In this next segment, it is the Judgment Day. They're going back and forth about Dom going out there by himself, and I guess he didn't communicate with the Judgment Day that he was going to be out there with LWO and Legado del Fantasma. Sorry if I'm butchering the name. So this is when Dom comes back, and this is when Rhea says, "Oh, why didn't you tell us what was going, like, the plan tonight? Like, we would have came out and helped you." Da da da. This is when Dom says, "Because I wanted to make the Judgment Day proud and everything like that." And this is when Damon says, "Do you have anything else you want to tell us?" He said, "Yeah, I want to go to the doctor." So this is when JD had wind up taking him to the doctor. This is when Damian Priest says that not only is WrestleMania about the group, but about us as an individual making an impact. So this is when Rhea says, "Oh, do you have anything you want to tell us?" So this is when Finn says, "The only thing that we need to say is that WrestleMania is going to be ours." And I'm like, so are you going to finally cash in at WrestleMania? Like I said earlier, Angel and Berto have a match right after that beatdown that they took from LWO. So they had a pretty standard back and forth match. Unfortunately, Angel and Berto did not come away with this win. They wound up getting hit with the Burning Hammer, and 1, 2, 3. New Catch Republic is going to be inserted into the 6-pack challenge ladder match for the undisputed tag team championships. So right before this Paul Heyman segment, they showed the segment from Monday when The Rock had whipped Cody Rhodes like a government mule. It went back to Paul Heyman, and he says that The Rock did that out of orders of Roman Reigns, I guess. So then this is when Jimmy Uso says that orders by Roman Reigns, that Solo Sikoa is going to go one-on-one against Jey Uso, and he's not going to make it to WrestleMania to face Jimmy Uso. In this next segment, it is AJ Styles, and he comes out, he cuts a promo. He says, "You know what? It's you guys' fault why LA Knight came to my home and tried to fight me. And he said I should have just let him rot in that jail and miss his first WrestleMania. But you know what? I'm more invested into going to WrestleMania with him and exposing him for the overachieving, under-talented, walking piece of trash that he really is." And he said, "I guarantee you that he's here tonight." So he goes on this witch hunt, and he's sitting there checking the cameramans and all the way around, under the ring, over the ring, and all through the apron and everything like that. And I'm like, oh my goodness, dude. Paranoid a bit. So this is when finally LA Knight reveals himself behind him. So then as he turns around to the Tychotron, all of a sudden he sees that LA Knight is right behind him. And then LA Knight just started just wailing on him, was beating on him. Then he winds up running out of there. So this is when LA Knight says, "You got some audacity to call me the biggest walking trash, and you're the biggest walking waste that I ever seen in my life. Everybody gonna be screaming LA Knight." So now finally we are at the main event. Yes, it is Dakota Kai versus Bianca Belair, the EST of WWE. Yes. So they actually had a really good match, but this match was, I'm not gonna lie, it was really good though, like nonetheless. So they had a really standard back and forth match. Bianca Belair threw it all, she toughed it out, and she hit the KOD 1, 2, 3. She wins, but of course Damage Control is gonna come out. It was only Asuka and Kairi Sane that came out. Of course the numbers game catches up to her. This is when Naomi comes out, and then she tries to, get her ones off. It doesn't work out either, only for a hot second. They left standing tall in the ring until Jade Cargill, yes, came out for the save. My girl, that's my girl. That's my girl. She came out and she cleaned house. She super kicks Asuka. She wound up power bombing Dakota Kai, and then she wound up hitting her Jaded on Kairi Sane, leaving them all laying. And I'm like, okay, yes. And I love the fact that everybody stood tall with her, all her sisters. Yes. Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi. I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. Oh my goodness. Chef's kiss. I love how strong WWE is booking Jade Cargill. Hope they continue to make her look like the star that she is. And it is so official. It is going to be Damage Control, Asuka, Dakota Kai, and Kairi Sane versus Jade Cargill, Naomi, and Bianca Belair in a 6-woman tag team match. I am so ready to see that. But anyways, let me know, how did you feel about SmackDown? Did you love it? I was thoroughly entertained, to be honest, myself. If I had to rate it, I definitely would give it a really high score. This definitely hit the mark. I feel like it's only going to get better from here. How did you like it? Did you think it was okay? Could have been better, or whatever the case may be? Like, share, subscribe, and please help me continue to grow my channel and all that other good stuff. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Peace. I'm out. TJ out.